Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for attending Best Practices for Creating Mobile Help with DocToHelp. I'm Nikki Blyle, and I'm very, very pleased to be your host today. I always like to let folks know a little bit about me before we jump in, so here's my bio. If you'd like to learn more about me, please go to nikkiblyle.com. Now, here are the best practices for single sourcing to mobile we will cover today. Starting a mobile help project, tips and considerations for graphics, tables, and TOCs, mobile terminology, concise writing, using related topics to improve navigation, Section 508 compliant NetHelp, and a little bit about EPUB. As you can see, we're going to touch on a lot of subjects. We're going to touch on a lot of subjects. We'll even touch on EPUB for a tiny bit, which it's also a mobile output. And there will be a list of resources at the end. I'm always available for questions. I will provide you with my email address at the end. Plus, we're going to email you a PDF of these slides tomorrow, so all of the links and references that I include, you'll have in hand really soon, so you don't have to worry about taking detailed notes. You could just pay attention to the webinar and have all that information in your hands tomorrow. One other thing we're going to talk about today, we're going to take a quick look at other uses for mobile help systems. So that is something else we will touch on. We have a full agenda for today. Now let's step back for a minute and talk about single sourcing. As you know, single sourcing allows us to start with one set of content and output to many different outputs. I know I don't need to sell you all on single sourcing. I just wanted to note that mobile and EPUB outputs have been added to our deliverable set, in pretty quick succession. They're pretty new. So we could now single source to so many more things. We could single source to the web, desktop, EPUB, mobile help. Most of these can be read on mobile devices. The wonderful thing is we can now single source to these new outputs successfully, as well as continue to create browser-based help, CHUMS, HTML help, manuals, and all of the other outputs we need to deliver. So we've got a lot of new things we could do, but the old stuff, we could still do that too, and we need to do that. Now this next slide illustrates a project that has been single sourced to 5 different deliverables. That's all the same project. We have these 5 different deliverables. Now DocToHelp could actually output to 12 different deliverables, but I just wanted to show you these. Now let's take a look at DocToHelp's mobile output. First of all, it's HTML5 based, and it uses 2 web technologies, jQuery and jQuery Mobile, and these make it browser and device independent. With the number of mobile browsers and the number of devices out there, this is very compelling. It's also Section 508 compliant if you would like it to be. This output is simple to build and to deploy. First, you build your output. In DocToHelp, you merely, in your project, choose to build mobile, build it, and then all you need to do is copy the files to your server. I'll demo building a little bit later, but first I wanted to take a look at mobile help. Now, this is what DocToHelp's mobile output looks like right out of the box. You have the choice of displaying either the table of contents or a topic by default when a user opens up the mobile help project. This is easy to change in DocToHelp using our theme designer, so this is merely a checkbox. So you'll notice there's an index button. Let me grab my highlighter. So you'll see an index button right here. That is your choice whether you want to display that or not. and I'll explain why. When you use DocToHelp, if your project has no index entries in it, that button will simply not appear. It won't be there. But if you do have an index and you don't want it to appear in your mobile outputs, you could hide it. But the index can display in all of your other outputs. So you'll want it to be in your manual, you'll want it to be in your HTML help, in your net help, which is what DocToHelp calls its browser-based output, net help. So you can have, it's just very, very simple to hide the index in mobile outputs. Since people fat finger on mobile devices, it's kind of hard to hit index entries, so it's your call on whether you want to display it or not. Now let's take a quick demo. I'd like to show you mobile help and EPUB on actual devices. So I have my webcam hooked up here. Let me switch over. So there is my webcam, and you're going to see my big hand there. It looks gigantic, so it takes a second for the webcam to adjust to the light. But this is my Motorola Razr, and I have a project called Pittsburgh Fun that is displayed on it. You'll see I chose that by default this project would display with the table of content showing. So I'm just going to click through a couple things to show it to you. So Pittsburgh Fun. So there we go. There's the first topic. Now if I go to museums and destinations, taking a second for it to respond to me tapping on it. Whoops. Sorry, we're having the live demo fun with the project, so let me jump back. Sorry, let me pull that out, and whoops. Okay. So it just needs to adjust again. Sorry about that. The dangers of live demoing. So, okay, we look at our museums and destinations, and you'll see I have a number of links there once that focuses. These links go to URLs about each one of these destinations in Pittsburgh. So when I click on the link, it will go to the website. So you can see this is a it opened up in the same window. So this is a very versatile output. We have previous and next buttons. So in any case, I also wanted to show you, so this is what it looks like on a mobile phone. Now I took that same project and I output it to EPUB. So I will show you this on here's my Kindle. It's a little bit bigger. So here's some of that same information. Welcome to Pittsburgh Fun, geography, museums and destinations. So click on my link, and we've opened that same website. So just wanted to show you what those two projects look like, what the output looks like live. So I'll move those to the side and put my webcam away here and go back to the slides. So now that you've seen the end result, now we have to go backwards and see how you build mobile help. Now it's very easy to do in DocToHelp, and in DocToHelp you have the advantage that if you want to work in Microsoft Word, you could do that, or you could write in DocToHelp's built-in XHTML editor. Either one, it's your choice. Basically, if you've got Word documents you could pull them into DocToHelp and build mobile help just, that quickly. Just choose mobile help from the list of targets and click build, and you're on your way. And I do want to note, when I talk about book or topic paradigm will work is, what I mean is you could write any way you want to. You could write, discrete individual topics, which is a topic paradigm, using topic-based authoring, or you could write chapters and sections just like you write a book right now. So either's fine. So either one of those paradigms can work for you. Now let me jump over and just show you DocToHelp really quickly, just to show you the interface. I'm going to show you this project in a little more detail in a little bit, but I wanted to show you this is a project that has 3 Word documents in it, and all I need to do is just choose what I'd like to build, such as mobile, and then click Build and build it. So it really is that simple. DocToHelp, like these are Word documents. If I open one right now, I want to show you that DocToHelp adds a DocToHelp ribbon in Word so that you can easily create links, add keywords, conditionalize. I mean, that's something important for mobile. There's the conditional text feature. You could add variables. There's a lot of different things you could do. So I just wanted to show you that very, very quickly, and we'll look at it in a little more detail later. But now we'll go back to our slides. I want to basically show you some easy ways to adapt your existing content to mobile. Now, first of all, let's talk about the mobile persona. Now, a generic persona for mobile is that folks on mobile devices are distracted. They're often using one hand. They might be driving with the other. We hope they're not, because you shouldn't do that. They fat finger the device. You saw when I was trying to do my demo that I practiced many, many times for you that I was had a little trouble because I was fat fingering the device a little bit. And you use your device in many, many situations, including under webcams or out at parks or out on the street, in your car, all those things. And folks are generally impatient and want the info quickly. Now, you could add scenarios to make these more specific to your project, because everybody's project has this specific scenario, and maybe you even do personas for your project. For example, your scenario may be that your users are service people in the field, so they aren't necessarily distracted when you're using your project. It just all depends. Now, we could talk about all sorts of things about mobile in general for a long time, but we don't have time for that today. But I did want to give you a resource. So if you're interested in more information about mobile trends, about information about screen resolution, viewports, all those sorts of things, I did a talk at TCOM last year, and the slides are up, so I provide the link at the end of today's talk, so you could go to those slides, and there's a lot of information about those very specific items. Now, more about general best practices. First of all, overarching best practices. If you want that kind of advice, some of the best advice comes from the mobile web world, and I have a couple of links here. It makes sense that this advice comes from the mobile web world because mobile help is browser-based, and it has a lot in common with a website. It has a table of contents, it has navigation, it has search. So the best practices I wanted to mention are keep it simple and prioritize content, use vertical navigation, be concise, simplify navigation, and be thumb-friendly or finger-friendly. So now we'll take a look at how we can implement these best practices when single sourcing to mobile. Now, first of all, keeping it concise. Being concise is not just about the fact that when we're using a mobile device, there's a small screen. It's also about the mobile persona. Mobile users are often only using one hand. You don't want to make them scroll and tap too much. So there are 2 sides to keeping it concise. There's the table of contents and the content itself. So we'll talk about those a little bit more right now. Now, first of all, I wanted to mention that many people call concise writing minimalism, and that's okay. It's because of the book, The Nuremberg Funnel by John Carroll, that popularized that term. But writing concisely is more of a byproduct of minimalism than minimalism itself. Minimalism strives to get learners started on meaningful tasks and reduce the amount of reading and other passive activity. So being concise is a byproduct of trying to achieve that goal. Now, all that being said, your TOCs in mobile should be no more than 2 levels, because you don't want users to have to tap more than twice to get to the to some meat, to get to the information, to get to the topic. Also, there's two parts of the TOC. The names of your TOC entries should actually be short, so that they have a better chance of fitting on screen. There's no real rule about how long the TOC entries could be, because there's such variation among mobile devices. You could do a little bit of testing on that, but the best idea is to keep it short so that it has a better chance of fitting on screen. Now, DocToHelp has a feature that I have here, and there are links to blog posts and online help. When you get these slides, you'll have these links that explain how to use the customized TOC feature. So you'll have that information. Now, as for concise content, that's the other side of talking about keeping it concise. Some topics and even specific text, may not be necessary for mobile. So DocToHelp has a feature called conditions that you could use to hide entire topics or even text within a topic. So DocToHelp gives you a way to handle that. And one thing to think about, if your content hasn't had a good copy edit in a while, you may want to consider doing an editing pass so that you improve the clarity and usability of all your outputs, not just mobile, because being concise is good in all outputs. Okay, terminology management. Now, the terminology of mobile and desktop is different. You all know that. For example, a very simple example is on a mobile device you tap, on a desktop you click. So you can handle this terminology issue with something called variables in DocToHelp. So all you need to do is create a single variable that uses different conditions for different outputs. So this screen capture actually illustrates a text variable that has 2 different conditions. So so that we have that there for you. This is, like I said, there are so many things I could demonstrate today, but I will give you the link to this blog post so you can learn how to manage your content with variables. And I give you one other resource here. Luke Roboleski and a bunch of his colleagues wrote an online touch-based user interface guide, and I have the link here for you, and I think you'll find it very useful because it covers all of the desktop, all of the mobile terminology, and it actually breaks it up into different devices. So there's a lot of good information there. Now let's talk about improving navigation with related links. Now, efficient navigation is important in mobile outputs. It's really important in everything, really, but in mobile, you want to be especially sensitive to the fact that you don't want users to have to hit the back button very often, especially because on mobile devices the back button varies. On some devices it's actually part of the device itself. Sometimes it's within the interface. It varies. So one thing DocToHelp does for you automatically is, let me get my little highlighter again, it creates something for you called related topics, and here's an illustration. And you can see here's an illustration within a topic. So these links are created for you automatically. They aid your navigation, and what DocToHelp is doing here is these links are to subtopics of the main topic. So Pittsburgh sports is the main topic, and the subtopics are football, baseball, hockey. So it created these links for you automatically. You could actually change this heading. It doesn't have to say more. That's what it says by default. You could also add additional links within, by using DocToHelp with drag and drop. So you could add additional links here to aid navigation. You could also change those icons. You could see their little swooshy arrows. You could change those. And you could also change the size of these links. So these are actually links that users can tap or click on, the football, baseball, hockey. This is also a good best practice for your other outputs too. It's great for mobile, but it's also great for all of your other outputs. A lot of people really love this. Now you may wonder how DocToHelp does this. It uses heading styles. So it does it automatically because it knows that what the heading style of Pittsburgh sports is. It knows that football, baseball, and hockey were nested underneath it. You know, for example, Pittsburgh sports probably used a heading 1, football, baseball, hockey heading 2. So it did this automatically, and if you're not familiar with DocToHelp, I'll just mention that DocToHelp also uses these heading styles to create your table of contents for you automatically. So this is what I mean by you could build things right out of the box. You could actually pull documents in or write documents very quickly in DocToHelp, do a build, and as long as you have heading 1, you know, heading 2, heading 3, it's going to do a table of contents. It's going to make these related links for you. It's just something that works very, very well. I do have a link here to a blog post called Managing Related Topics, or it's probably an online help topic, and you could learn more about how to work with related topics in DocToHelp. Now let me get rid of my highlighter there and jump to the next thing we're going to talk about, which is Section 508 compliance. This is important, and DocToHelp is equipped to handle this section of the Americans with Disabilities Act. So this feature also works in DocToHelp's other outputs where it is applicable. It's not limited to mobile help. So basically, as you can see here, it's 1 or 2 clicks to enable Section 508 compliance in DocToHelp. What DocToHelp will do when you turn on Section 508 as the accessibility mode is it will add titles for your icons and links that screen readers can use, and all the pop-ups will appear in the mainframe, so that's important. Now that takes care of the screen readers on that side. There is something you need to do for the screen readers. The alternative text must be added for your graphics and video, and you should put in captions and summaries for the tables. Now DocToHelp has dialog boxes for you to easily do this, but you do need to do it or the screen reader won't have any text to read when it comes upon tables, graphics, or video. So there is a blog post that I wrote about creating Section 508 compliant help, so you have all the information you need in that blog post. Now I'd like to jump and show you a few formatting tips that I would like to share with you. These are using DocToHelp features to improve your mobile outputs. Now first of all, DocToHelp has a feature called collapsible text, and this screen capture shows what that looks like in a mobile output. So basically, actors, comedians, TV legend, artists, all those big buttons there, if you click on the big button, it will display the correct list under it, so that you will, if you click on TV legend, you'll see the name of a TV legend, that sort of thing. So instead of having a long laundry list appearing in your mobile output, you have these nice categories that users could just choose what they want to see. It's great for, you know, any output, but it's really nice for mobile, and it also follows the tenets of progressive information disclosure, letting the users, you know, move forward and learn more. You know, like peel the banana, have them keep finding more as they move along. Now bullets and numbering, talking about formatting. Perhaps in your outputs, bullets and numbering take up too much room in the user interface. Maybe you want to test how your mobile output looks without them. So you could use conditions in DocToHelp or rich text variables to manage that. So if you decide you want bullets and numbering in all your other outputs but not your mobile, you could do that. Easy to do. Don't place links too close together. That's helps with the fat fingering. Now, another tip I have for you is that I showed you this in my demo. This was that Pittsburgh project that I showed you. That's sort of a little tourism project I put together. You could take links, and instead of I actually clicked on a link on my mobile device, but you could make them into buttons, and this is what the buttons would look like, and that gives them more prominence and it makes them easier to fit. So that's another formatting tip. Now, one thing I wanted to mention about EPUB, I showed you an EPUB very quickly. DocToHelp outputs to EPUB very well, but with EPUB in general, tables can be an issue because they could break horizontally and not appear as you envision they would. So, it's very important that we know that our outputs are going to read the way we envision them. So you might want to, if you're outputting to EPUB, you might want to consider replacing your tables. You could use conditions to hide them if you want, and display that information in a chart or a graph instead. Be a little bit creative with that, and sometimes that you might end up with a better result than a table. So I did want to point out that that's just one thing to think about. But graphics, all of these things, as you saw, look good in EPUB. Now let's take a look at the sample projects included in DocToHelp. I had one open right now. I had one that I showed you earlier that I wanted to. I will show you again. And the sample projects in DocToHelp are once you download DocToHelp from DocToHelp.com, these sample projects are easy to open from the Getting Started wizard opens when you open DocToHelp, and you could choose to look at the sample projects. Now there are 3 specific projects for mobile, and but there are a number of others. I think there's 10 projects altogether. They demonstrate all kinds of other projects such as software documentation, an employee manual, API docs, a few other things. But the mobile projects specifically are the ones I'm showing you here. There are the Brew Crew Answer Station. This is a knowledge base for a service team that delivers coffee and tea. I bet you wondered what that was about. It's about delivering coffee and tea and coffee pots and things like that. Pittsburgh Fun is a little tourism resource. That's the one I've been showing you. And Peeve Penguins is an actual help project. It's help for a fictional game to explain how to play the game Peeve Penguins. Now, remember, you could build any project as mobile help. It'll work right out of the box. But these are nice samples for you to check out. And if you're just learning DocToHelp, these samples are also a good example of different ways to structure your projects. So whether you decide to use Word or use DocToHelp's Builtin Editor, these projects are good. Any of the sample projects are good examples of what you could do. For example, the Brew Crew Answer Station is a project with one Word document in it. So it's a single Word document. You could do that with DocToHelp if you want. Pittsburgh Fun contains multiple single topic Word documents. So you could do topic-based authoring using Word in DocToHelp. Just pull them in and arrange them the way you want, and that'll work. And also Peeve Penguins actually uses multiple single topics. So it's topic-based authoring, but it uses DocToHelp's Builtin Editor. So there are multiple XHTML documents. So you have a lot of different options. Let me jump over to DocToHelp. So I do want to show you very quickly where the Getting Started wizard is. It will open immediately when you open DocToHelp, but if you close it, just click this orange button in the upper right, and the Getting Started wizard will open, and you could say open a sample project and then navigate to all of them. Now, while you're here, you could also simply start a new project using the wizard, or open an existing project. when you start a new project, DocToHelp will actually let you import Word files that you already have. So if you already have a number of Word files and you want to try out DocToHelp, simply open the Getting Started wizard, say Start a New Project, go through the wizard, tell it you have Word documents. It will let you import them very, very simply. So wanted to show you that. So this project is the what's called the Pittsburgh project. As I said, you could choose any output, and I did want to mention these are all of the outputs you can build with DocToHelp. You could also publish to a SharePoint wiki and publish NetHelp to SharePoint. So those are the two other outputs. So in any case, I could simply choose to build mobile help, click Build, and this will build pretty quickly. As I said, you can see this project has 3 different documents in it, including a glossary. I do want to show you with the DocToHelp ribbon how to use conditions and a couple of other things before we wrap up today. But there's, all the features that I talked about today. I've given you blog posts to them or links to help, or you could email me anytime and I will tell you about them. So this will open in a browser. So of course your mobile device wouldn't be this wide, so we'll shrink it a little bit just for the sake of, so you get a better idea. But you've built it, so this would be now if a user was using this on a mobile device, they'd be tapping, but we will click. So Pittsburgh's 250th anniversary. Click here. This is because DocToHelp has something called automatic glossary links. So there's a definition in the glossary to the word confluence. DocToHelp automatically created this link. Tap on it. Users could see a definition. So you could turn that off, but it's just handy. So you could see we built mobile help that quickly, and you could sort of see here how it adapts for various device sizes and things. So that is just sort of a quick showing of what the mobile looks like. Of course, then you could choose to build NetHelp, and we'll build that really quickly before I open the Word documents and show you that. So I want to let you know, I'll let everyone ask questions at the end. We will have Q&A at the end. So don't feel like you're not going to get a chance to ask your questions. So NetHelp is a browser-based output that you could deploy. This could actually be a website. It's very configurable. You could edit the theme. Now this is more of a desktop output, although of course you could view it on your mobile device. I've tried it and it works. So this is a more traditional try-pane help. This is very customizable. You can customize this top area, add the header, you could add a logo, you could change the font style, you could change the color scheme. We have contents, index, and search. So you can see it's the same exact project, but it's output to a different, it's output to NetHelp, so I wanted to show you that. But NetHelp is very, very customizable. Now, one thing I wanted to say, like you may just, as I said, you could start a new project in DocToHelp using the Getting Started wizard. If you don't, you could open DocToHelp and simply start adding documents. Now, if you have existing documents, just click the Add Existing Document button and import your documents using the wizard. And you could even import them from SharePoint, as you could see. If you want to just add new documents, you have nothing, or you have one document, you added it, and you want to add more, then you click the Create New Document button, and if you choose what you'd like to create, a Word document, an XHTML document, you can mix them up within the same project. So if you say Word document, you'll create a new Word document, and it's easy to move them around. So you could create them, move them around with the arrows. You could rename them. So Once you have all of those documents within your project, you could simply hit build, choose what you want to build, hit build, and see what you have, and then start doing your customization. So what's really nice with DocToHelp is you could start out very, very simply and get what you need very quickly, and then you could do all sorts of customizations. You could add, as I said, you could start using conditions, you can create a target-specific table of contents, you could do all sorts of things. So to show you very quickly, I mentioned the target-specific table of contents, so I'll show you that. Here's what we have. So here's the table of contents DocToHelp built by automatically, as I mentioned earlier, using heading styles. So if I want to change this table of contents and make a specific one for mobile, I can click the Target Specific Table of Contents button, and then I could make a custom custom table of contents, not custom target, custom table of contents for my mobile output. So I could do that, and it'll say, do you want to create one? Yes. And then I can adjust this. I can perhaps move things under. I could do whatever it is I want to do to customize this table of contents. And this one will only be used for mobile help because it's target specific. The other outputs will keep their original table of contents. I talked about related topics earlier. DocToHelp automatically created those related subtopic links for me. From Pittsburgh sports to football, baseball, hockey. If I want to take football and link it back to Pittsburgh sports, all I need to do is click on football. I talked about drag and drop, drag Pittsburgh sports here. There will automatically be a link from Pittsburgh sports to that. So I can actually create navigation so that when someone is in the football topic, they will have a link to take them back to the home topic, Pittsburgh sports. So that's related topics. So that's one of the things you could do right within DocToHelp. Now when you open up your documents, so we'll open Pittsburgh Word Source. This is where the DocToHelp ribbon will come in. If I want to create a link, so I'll just say create a link from Pittsburgh. I click the link button. I could link to any other topic in the project simply by choosing it and saying OK, and that's all there is to it. Now I have some links already here, so let's take a look at these. So Pittsburgh Pirates, if I say I want to make that link a button. I talked earlier about buttons. All I have to say is show as button. And then when I build this, there will actually be a button for that link instead of just a regular link. So that's something I could do with DocToHelp. In conditional text, perhaps I want this text to not be included in my mobile output. You can create custom conditions, but say we want to do something out of the box, I can say that this should be included in EPUB, it should be included in HTML help, it should be included in net help, it should be included in the printed manual. That means when I build this, when I build mobile help, that will not be included in my mobile output. So you can make certain text only appear in certain outputs. It really, this is something you could use with net help versus manual. You could also, as I said, you could create your own conditions, which is really, really handy. If you create variables with DocToHelp, I won't show you that today, but you could create customized chunks of text. So you can manage your content very well that way. And then you could insert them wherever you want, and DocToHelp will insert that information on the fly. I mentioned earlier you could use conditions and then take your variables, and when you build your mobile, it will insert the word tap. When you build your HTML help, it will insert the word click. So variables can have conditions on them. So there's just so many things you could do. The DocToHelp ribbon makes that possible and makes it very, very easy. So let's see. So let me, okay, so we will close this document. We don't need to save those changes. So I think that's a pretty good quick tour of DocToHelp. There's so much you could do with it, and it's so easy to use. And as this demonstration, I'm using Word, but you could use the Builtin Editor. In fact, I'll open up one of the projects that uses the Builtin Editor. So there's a version of this Pittsburgh project that uses that. So you can see now in this project, each one of the documents is a discrete topic. And when I double click on it, it opens up right within DocToHelp, and a number of ribbons are exposed: editor, insert, table, and you can you could work right within DocToHelp. Then you don't need to work in Word. You're actually working right within DocToHelp's Builtin Editor. So that is also very easy to use. So we will jump back to our slides, and I will sum up. That way we'll have plenty of time for Q&A. I think we're doing very good for time. All I need to tell you is, as you can see, DocToHelp makes it easy to create mobile help, and it includes features to handle conciseness, terminology management, navigation, Section 508, and a lot of many more things than that. But the great thing is you could build things right out of the box. You don't need to do any customizations if you don't want to or don't have time to. Now, for further reading, I have links to a number of blog posts about mobile, to Luke Robolewski's Touch Gesture Reference Guide, Joe Walensky's book on developing user assistance for mobile apps. I have a new article in TC World magazine. That magazine is only in print right now, so it will be online March 1st, that particular article, so you can just search for that and it'll be out there, and maybe I'll send you the link too. And then there are the slides I talked to you about from TCOM that have a lot of information about different mobile subjects. And we will take questions right now. As I said, my contact information is, you could email me at nikkib@component1.com. Our website is doctohelp.com. Please go there to download a free 30-day trial. Follow us on Twitter. We're also on Facebook, but follow us on Twitter at DocToHelp, one word, and I'm Nikki Blyle on Twitter, and you could certainly follow me if you'd like. I thank you all so much for coming, and we'll jump into questions in just a minute. I thank you very, very kindly for your kind attention. It's been wonderful.